There you are. Welcome back to another exciting edition of M3. We'll start with that. Got my trusty timer. Bam. We got an amazing session today. Today, we're going to be focusing on eccentric contractions. That means the contraction that happens when your muscle's elongating. Similar flow as usual. Lots of functional stuff. Rolling around, getting up, getting down, and following it all up with a beautiful stretch. Maybe start to turn your attention inside and maybe start thinking about an intention for your movement practice today. So we're going to go ahead and start on the ground with a supine check-in. So let's go ahead and find our way down onto the ground and we'll get this show on the road. All right. So from our supine position, knees can be bent or they could be straight. Choice is yours. I'm going to go with a straight leg option because and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my hands gently on my abdomen. And just see if you can surrender all unnecessary tension and allow your abdominal muscles to let go completely. So how do we know our abdominal muscles are letting go completely? Well, one of the things you can do is just kind of feel around in the abdominal area and just make sure everything feels nice and comfortable. We're letting go of unnecessary tension so that the body can realign itself. The body's really good at knowing where it's supposed to be, generally speaking. So if you give your body the chance, the right environment, the body heals more productively and it aligns itself more productively. So sometimes when you're relaxing on your back and massaging on your stomach, you might even hear your spine adjust, and that's totally normal. So just see if you can start to press your fingers around the abdominal area. And this one here, I have my thumbs in towards my belly button and I'm pressing in and just doing some circular motions in my abdominal area. Just getting this connective tissue in the abdominal zone nice and pliable and ready for movement. Okay. Our next movement, similar to things we've done before, taking a right full palm, placing it on the left side of the neck and just massage. So you can see I just have my fingers cascading off the side of my neck and I'm just massaging into the side of the neck and over the clavicle right here. You see my clavicle. This is where all your lymph dumps back into the heart. So we're just gently massaging there and then we're stroking through the sternum into the abdominal region. Okay, then we switch sides. So I take my left hand now, massage that into the side of the neck. And remember, you can add whatever you want, right? You want to squeeze a little bit into your shoulders. You want to do some circular motions with your massage. Feel free. Get in there and do whatever it is your body needs and let your body inform you along the way of what's working and what's not and respond accordingly. Okay? Nice and easy, nice and relaxed. And stroking down through the sternum into the abdominal region. Okay. From here, we're going to bend one knee and we're going to press through the heel and we're going to massage the low back and the sides of our body. So we're just getting a nice gentle massage. You know, for me, I can also move and add some undulations of the lower spine and the hip while I do this movement or while I massage this area. That tends to feel real good too. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides. So the other knee's bent, pressing through the heel and just getting a nice gentle massage and moving your hips forward and back. Inhale, exhale. Now, as you inhale and exhale, make sure that you feel movement underneath your hands. Your abdominal region See if you can get that to move as you breathe. Really expanding as you breathe in, and then as you exhale, really kind of drawing everything back inside, squeezing out all of that air. Let's switch sides one more time each side. Just nice gentle massage into the back, maybe add it into the hip, posterior hip, lateral hip, anterior hip, whatever you like. Inhale, exhale, nice and slow. One more time the other side. Just getting a nice gentle massage into this lower region of our midsection. Lower region of the midsection. Well, you can kind of see where I'm at. So regardless of how specific my words are, you understand what I'm saying. All right. So from here, we're going to take both knees to our chest. So I'd bring one knee to your chest first and then the other one. And then we're just going to straighten one leg at a time. So I'm going to straighten one leg out and then I'm going to switch sides. And then I'm going to hold my other leg, straighten the other one out. Okay? We're going to do this for about another 40 seconds. So just take your time. See if you notice any clicks and pops. And if you do, see if you can modify how you're doing it. Maybe you can slow it down. Maybe you can decrease the amount that you're squeezing your knee towards your chest. So many different ways that we can modify what we're doing to maximize the effect. Now, clicks and pops aren't wrong. It's just information. So you may want to run some experiments as you gather that information along our movement journey. Okay, so from here, we're going to roll onto our bellies, please. And we're going to do something called an arm sweep. So from your belly, arms are above your head. You're going to take one arm and you're just going to sweep it towards the back side. Your leg is still pretty much situated towards the ground. So there's a nice rotational reach happening. And then just come right back down onto your belly, switch sides. So we're going to just sweep my arm back and allow the weight of my arm to lead my body, but keep the leg moving in the opposite direction. So I just have a nice long body stretch. Okay? Return to your abdomen, switch sides, just nice long sweeps, and return. Sweep. See if you can really feel all the way to the tips of your fingers. And come back. Sweep. Sweep. Another 10 seconds. It's nice and easy. Inhale, exhale. Nice and strong, nice and long. Okay, our last movement in our check-in series is a supine to sideline with your arms above your head. So let's laying on our back. Arms come above the head. I'm simply going to roll onto my side. And as I roll onto my side, I'm massaging the side of my body into the ground. So like the serratus anterior, some of the inferior shoulder muscles down here. So we're just massaging into the side, nice and easy. And then we switch sides. So again, my arms are above my head. I just bend one knee, press through that heel, and I roll onto my side. Inhale, exhale as you go. See if you can bring some awareness into all the different parts of your body, especially into that foot as you press yourself across. Got about another 20 seconds left. And then we're moving into our first movement series, which is going to include some rocking. So let's go ahead and switch one more time. So just rolling. Wardrobe issues here. So massaging the body by using the weight of our body and the ground and just enjoying those sensations, especially down into the front. Okay, guys, first movement series is going to be some rocking. So our rocking is going to take us from a bent knee position, and we're just going to bring our body weight forward and back. And then as you come up to your seated position, you're going to hook your heels into the ground and kind of pull your butt forward to create some length through the spine. and then let go of that, round through the back, rock back, come right back up. When you come up, you can also add a reach. So you can rock and reach, and you can also rock up into different seated positions. So I can come up into a figure 4 position. I can come up into a double leg long sit position, whatever you like, or you could stick with the basics of drawing or kind of digging those heels into the ground and pulling your heels towards your butt to create that length through the spine. Got about another 15 seconds left. And from here, we're going to go into some side sit transitions, starting with a side sit roll to side sit. Okay, so just take your time. Get everything out of this roll that you can, or this rock, excuse me. All right, so from here, let's go into a side sit position. From our side sit position, I'm simply going to take the hand, same side arm as my front leg, and I'm going to kind of lower myself to the ground. From here, I'll roll and then just press myself into side sit the other way. Just like so, okay? So now I'm just in side sit the other direction. So I lower myself down, roll, press myself up, side sit. That's it, okay? So lower down, roll. Use your arms as much as you need to get yourself upright. Lower down, roll, and press up, okay? Take your time, or maybe you can start to move a little quicker. Add some gentle movements and undulations of the spine. 15 seconds left. From here, we're going to be moving into a bridge. Okay, so as you start to move your body around this morning, focus on deep, expansive breathing and paying attention to the sensations inside your body. Okay, so from here, we're going to go back onto our backside, and knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. We're going to press through the heels, and we're going to lift our pelvis off the ground. Okay, now we have some options here. Option 1, you can hold this isometric contraction for about 5 to 8 seconds. Okay, when you lower down 1 vertebrae at a time, starting with your mid back and then going down all the way to the lumbar spine, and then finally the sacrum makes its way down to the ground, and then you just gently kind of pulse your pelvis off the ground, almost like you're bouncing the backside of your hip on the ground. Boom, boom, and then press it right back up. Okay, that's option 1. Option 2 is to add a bridge march. So maybe adding 3 to 5 lifts of each one of the legs, and then again, lowering yourself in a way that works for you. For me, I like to imagine my tip of my tailbone moving away from my head and then slowly moving 1 vertebrae at a time, almost like I'm rounding through my back to get 1 vertebrae down at a time. Okay? All right, so we'll do another set of those, don't worry. Let's go right back into our rocking, and this time we're coming up into a figure 4 seated position. So, rocking into a figure 4 position. Okay? And this will be really important because our final set will be using this as a transition to getting up. So rocking into figure 4. If you want to take it to the next level, then as you rock up, push your body weight forward so that you're starting to feel the sensations in the hip. Okay? So nice and controlled. Use your hands if you need to come to your upright position. Remember, always long through the spine, deep breathing the whole time. I really like to explore sensations of my hip, especially on the inside of my hip here. Really just feel the control and what's going on in there. Okay? Okay, right back into our side sit position, please. So this time, we're going to swivel our knees from side to side, and we're going to add a hip press. This is the hip press. So all you do is you're going to swivel your knees side to side, and then hinging forward at the hips, press through. This is our hip press. And then when you lower yourself down, try to lower yourself nice and slow. So I come up, and then as I lower, see if you can do that nice and slow and really feel the sensations of your body controlling the descension. Descension? I'm not even sure if that's a word, to be perfectly honest with you, but it means lower your caboose to the ground slowly. That's what that means. Hip press, add a reach, and lower down slow with control. Switch sides. Got about 10 seconds left. And then we're going right back into our bridges. And this time we're going to do a shoulder roll. Okay? So let's go ahead and lower ourselves down onto our backs. This time we're going to do our bridge, and we're simply going to roll onto one shoulder and reach above the head. Okay? So lower yourself down, press your pelvis up, roll onto your shoulder, and add your reach. Just like so. And then come right back down. Okay? So lift the hips, roll onto the shoulder, reach above your head. You got all sorts of angles and degrees and vectors that you can reach for. And you can even make it more of like an arm sweep. I'm kind of sweeping my arm around, and that can work really good too. So this hip press doesn't have to happen separately, like 1, 2. It can be all in one motion. Boom. Okay? Got about 20 seconds left. And then we'll be going into our last set of rocking, in which we'll add a get up. Get ready to get your good get up on. Okay, 5 seconds. Okay, take special note of how your body feels. All right, let's go ahead and go back into our rocking. This time, we're going to use momentum to get ourselves to an upright position and come to standing. Lower yourself down, go right back into rocking. Maybe this time you want to kind of move your body around a little bit as you rock. Okay, and then when you come up, we have so many different options for how we get up. It doesn't have to be both feet together. It can be our figure 4, get up, or bring one foot back, lower yourself down, whatever you like. The idea is to practice rocking and getting up. Okay, you got about 30 seconds left. Make sure as you roll yourself down that you protect your head wherever possible. Okay? Slow down the movement and make it work for you. Okay. So from here, going right back into our side sit transitions. This time we're adding a get up with this movement as well. So swivel the knees side to side. Hinge, hip press, and then we're going to take this back leg and we're going to bring it forward so we can come to standing. Stand up, make sure you feel nice and control, and then lower yourself right back down. If you can do it without using your hands, fantastic, but if you need your hands, that's totally cool too. Remember, you don't get any awards for hurting yourself when you exercise. The idea of no pain, no gain has been misunderstood to the point where people end up hurting themselves, and then you can't exercise at all. What good is that? If you strive for reaching your limit, but not exceeding it, if you focus on maybe therapeutic discomfort at most, you're going to be all right. So you want to try your best and you want to work to fulfill your intention, but that's it. Okay? All right. So from here, we're moving into our bridges and we're going to do our overhead reach. The only thing different we're doing this time, so we have our bridge, our overhead reach as I slam my fingers into the wall here, and then I'm just going to lift the opposite leg off the ground. So it's almost like a balancing act happening here. Then I lower it down, switch sides. So again, hip press, overhead reach, and then just bring that leg. So whatever arm is going up into the air, I'm lifting the opposite leg, okay? So I press, reach, and then my leg comes off the ground, okay? Got about 35 seconds to figure this one out. And by figure this out, what I mean is explore the sensations. It's not about right or wrong. It's about moving the body in ways that are going to help to create strength and function. Okay, got about 10 seconds left, and then we're going to be moving into a knee hand crawl position, please. All right, so let's rock ourselves up into a knee hand crawl position, and we're going to start with some spinal articulations. So the spinal articulations means move your spine in as many different directions as you possibly can, and also bring your attention into the micro movements of every part of your spine. So there's going to be parts of your spine that you might feel more than others. And what I want to encourage you to do is to accentuate your movement in such a way that you can start to feel the movement of every part of your spine. And if you can't, that's okay. The idea is that you take your attention inside the body and you use a combination of movement and focus to start to create capacity or an enhanced sense of your body in a positive way. Okay, got about 24 seconds left. Perhaps drop your weight forward and back, getting some nice rounding through the back, really pressing into the ground, and then dropping the sternum towards the ground as well. Nice and easy. From here, we're going to be moving into a shuffle crawl. So check this out. We're going to back our weight up just a little bit so that we're sitting in a somewhat of a squat position. I'm going to place one hand on the ground, then the other, and I'm simply going to hop over to the side. That's it. So we haven't really warmed the wrists up that much yet. So I want to encourage you to take this one nice and slow and just start to load the wrists gradually. So just start to add a little bit of pressure. Perhaps you just even step across and not focus so much on the hop unless that's where you're at and that feels comfortable for you. Okay, so I can just simply step across and then come to the other side. Okay, place my hand, place my other hand, step across and step down. All right, so take your time. This is simply moving ourselves from a crouched position in one place to a crouched position in another place, and then returning to your ready position, which basically just means that you're upright, you're able to look around in your environment and do that with relative ease. Nice and strong. And then our next movement, the third movement in this series, is a hip roll. So from this knee hand crawl position, all you're going to do is lower your hips down towards the ground. You're going to roll through the posterior hip and then come right into your knee hand crawl the other direction. Okay, so lower the hips down. And you'll notice here for me, I like to step my foot behind. You see that foot coming out of nowhere? Boom. And then I lower myself down. And even though we're rolling through the hip, we're also paying attention to the sensation and the control that the feet add to the movement. You really want to take your attention into those feet and make sure that they're really active in this whole process. Even here, when you can see my foot is on the top side, I'm pressing into the top side of my foot. So there's always an element of participation with the feet. So get your roll on, come to your position, switch sides. Now about another 5 seconds, and right back into our spinal articulations from our knee hand crawl position. All right, so now this time what we're going to do with our spinal articulations is we're going to step out. So from my knee hand crawl, I'm going to step out, and then I'm going to do my spinal articulations. So remember, you got your flexing of the spine, you got extension of the spine, you got lateral flexion, you got all sorts of variations in between, and then bring that leg back, switch sides. So you're just taking your spine through as many different motions as you can. Now, if you're going really far and something feels like, whoa, wonky or a little bit not so good, then that's just a sign to dial it down a little bit. Perhaps, move into a position that feels good for the spine. Okay, switch. Maybe this time you come a little bit more out to the side. Nice and strong, and moving your spine. That's what it's all about. Perhaps you even take the hands out of the situation and start to focus on moving the spine. This movement is spinal articulation. So however you end up doing that, that's your business. Okay. 10 seconds left. Stepping out and moving the spine. Okay, so from there, going back into our shuffle crawl dynamic, this time we're going to do more of a squat hop. So let's see if we can get ourselves into a squat position, please. We're going to walk our hands out just a little bit, bring our body weight forward, and hop those feet forward, sitting right into our deep squat position. Now, if your deep squat looks like this, that's totally cool. Just place your hands on the ground, hop those feet back, walk your feet back to meet it, and this is totally cool. If you can get a little bit closer to the ground, fantastic. Okay, so you're just walking your hands out just a little bit, hop those feet forward, sit into your nice deep squat. Remember, always returning to that ready position, always available and ready for whatever's coming next. Okay, we got about 25 seconds left. So just take your time. Maybe you want to add a little bit of the shuffle crawl aspect and just hop and shift to different positions that feel comfortable for you. That's fantastic. Okay. Okay. Going right back into our hip rolls. Okay. So you're down onto your hip, come up into your new position, and then switch sides. So we're just rolling through the hip. Slow it down. Pay attention to the movements. These are the movements that we want to dial in. So in life, when we have situations where we need to roll or we need to navigate the ground, we want to be able to do that with ease and with as little effort as possible. As we age, we want to have a relationship with the ground. So that way, the ground doesn't become an enemy of ours where we become afraid of it. We want to come down onto the ground and navigate the ground and start to pay attention to how that works and what's not working and where we need to practice so that we can make sure that we have a good relationship with the ground. Okay, 15 seconds left. Nice hip roll. Okay, 5 seconds left. So this last set of spinal articulations, we're going to add wrist rolling. Okay, so from our knee hand crawl position, I'm going to start to move and roll my wrists. And while I do that, I use that motion to accentuate what's happening in my spine. So I'm just going to take my wrist and I'm going to move it into different positions, and I'm loading especially the top side of my hand. So like when my fingers are down in this position, I want to load the back side of my hand. We frequently load the palm side, but we don't always load the top side. And as we load those wrists, we're going to just add those gentle movements through the spine. Inhale, exhale. Nice and easy the whole time. See how creative you can be with moving your spine and your wrists simultaneously. Get creative with your movement. Perhaps you're doing 2 movements at the same time. Really 3, because you got, well, whatever number you want to use. It's a lot of movement actually, but you get the idea. Okay, so one last set of shuffle crawl. So from our squat type position, reach across the body, shuffle those feet. The only difference this time is I'm going to come to a standing position in between. So I'm going to stand, lower one hand down, and the furthest foot away is the one that hops. Okay? And then I come to my new position. So I place my hand across the body. The foot that's furthest away is the one that hops to the other side. Okay? When you come to standing, bounce it out, shake it out, stay nice and relaxed. Lower yourself down in a ready type position and move as smooth and as fluid as you can. Okay? Staying nice and low is really going to help to strengthen those leg muscles. So it's not so much about how fast and how many reps you can do. It's really more about quality over quantity, which is definitely a good theme for our movement practice. Quality over quantity. And as we increase our quality, the quantity will inevitably increase. Okay. So from our shuffle crawl, last set of hip rolls. This time we're going to add a little bit to this one. So we're going to straighten out the body and roll on the front side of our hip. So instead of just rolling with bringing our hip to the ground, we're going to extend through the hip and then roll that way. So this is a movement to accentuate the stretch on the front side of the hip. So even if you're not doing a ton of rolling, but just spending a little time moving in and out of this position, that would be fantastic. So I can lower myself maybe down to the forearm and just get myself lowered down to the hip, roll. So we're massaging the hip and the quad with the ground. Okay, got about 25 seconds left. So again, lower down maybe to the forearm, get a nice gentle roll, and then press yourself up. Switch sides. Nice and strong. All right. So we're going to get into some push-ups coming up next. So we're going to start on our hands and knees, and we're going to get into push-ups, but we're going to focus on the eccentric part of the movement. So from your knees, you're simply going to lower yourself slowly towards the ground. Nice and easy. Once you get to the ground, take your hands up off the ground and then place them back down and then press yourself up at a speed that works for you. Okay? If you want, you can change the position of your hands as well. So as you lower yourself down, nice and slow, you're able to change the angle. Lift those hands up once you get to the ground and then come right back up at a speed that works for you. You can stagger your stance with your knees as well. So I can put one knee more forward and one knee more back. Lower myself down. Maybe I'm looking underneath the fridge. I drop my, dropped a Cheerio and it rolled under. Now maybe I drop something that's going to be stinky. Got to definitely get that out of there. Okay. So eccentric push-ups. Let's come to a standing position and we're going to apply that same principle of eccentric with a hip hinge. So with our feet shoulder width apart. Here, take it like this. All right, so with our feet shoulder width apart, long through the spine, inhale, exhale, and as you exhale with your hands on your hips, just tilt your pelvis forward. Only as far as you can go comfortably, and then come back up at a speed that works for you. The lowering part is nice and slow. Okay, feel what's happening as you lower yourself down and then come right back up out of it. All right? Keep yourself nice and relaxed. Maybe change your position a little bit. And when you're ready, inhale, exhale. As you exhale, tilt that pelvis forward. Okay, and then come right back up. Nice and easy. Shake it out. Got about 30 seconds left. Inhale, exhale. As you exhale, really press through the crown of the head and tilt the pelvis forward. Okay, nice and easy. Got about 12 seconds left. Our next movement is a squat, and we're going to be incorporating that same eccentric principle. The idea of lowering ourselves slowly into the movement. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to move into a squat. So as we lower ourselves down, the first part of the squat is the hip hinge. And then we just drop our weight back nice and slow. And we come as far down into our squat as what's comfortable for you, and then come right back up. Okay? So slowly lower yourself down, feeling the movement as you go. At the bottom, if it feels comfortable to add a little bouncing, that's okay. And then press yourself right back up to standing. Stay nice and loose, nice and relaxed the whole time. Inhale, exhale, hinge at the hips, lower yourself down. Okay, nice and strong. Remember, always returning to that ready position where your spine is long and you're able to look around in your environment. Okay, so keep going. Focusing on slowly lowering yourself down, as slow as you possibly can. Maybe you even pause at a certain point of your movement towards the ground. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Perhaps you want to add a reach. That's okay as well. Okay, nice and easy. All right, so we're going right back into our push-ups. This time, if you want to come into a full push-up, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and bust out a few of these just because I feel like it. So remember, slowly lowering yourself towards the ground is the key with this one. Nice and slow towards the ground. Once you make it to the ground, lift those hands up and then lower your hands right back down. Press yourself into your push-up position. Remember, if you want to change the position of your hands and the position of your legs, that's awesome because life doesn't always happen in alignment. So lower yourself down, take your hands out of the equation, and then press yourself right back up, and then change into another position. Got about 25 seconds left. This movement is all about control. So even if you're still just on your knees and you have your knees in some sort of a position that I haven't talked about, that's totally cool. Perhaps you want to come into a high hip crawl and lower yourself down that way as well, nice and slow. Whatever you want to do with it is totally cool. Okay, so right back into our standing hip hinge. This time we're going to do it from a staggered stance. Okay, so one foot in front of the other. Same exact thing. Inhale, exhale. As you exhale, you're going to tilt that pelvis forward. Just like so. Okay, come out of that, and at whatever speed that works for you, switch sides. So inhale, exhale. As you exhale, you're slowly moving into your hinge. You want to add a little bit of a reach, feel free. You want to sweep your hands a little bit from side to side, feel free. Make it work for you. The main movement here is a hip hinge. That's our main movement. Whatever else you want to add to that, that's your business. Okay? So stay nice and loose, stay nice and relaxed, nice staggered stance. And when you're ready, hinge forward. Come out of it. Okay? Nice and slow. Inhale, exhale. Lower nice and slow. Got about 10 seconds left, so see if you can get a couple more reps in. Nice and easy. Just really accentuating the sensation through the posterior chain as you do this movement. Okay? All right, moving right back into our squats. This time we're going to do a staggered stance with our squat as well. So, staggered stance, lower yourself down into your squat. Maybe touch the ground in multiple places. Inhale, exhale. Keep that spine nice and relaxed the whole time. And when you're ready, bring some attention into the feet and press yourself right back up into standing. Switch sides. So now I got my other foot forward. I hinge forward at the hips and lower myself down nice and slow with control. Okay? There's always so many things that happen throughout life where we have to go from standing to touch the ground. You know, you got to pick up something in your room. Maybe you dropped something and you need to pick it up. And so this is a great movement to practice so that you can practice multiple variations and different vectors as you move through this movement. As you move through the movement, we got about 15 seconds left. Okay, so this is a nice eccentric split stance squat. That's it. Okay, 5 seconds left. So see if you can't get another rep in and going right back into our last set of push-ups. All right, so last set of push-ups. Make it work for you. So I like to use the variation where I have my hands and legs in different positions and just slowly lower myself down and then come up at a speed that works for me. I can also kind of fall into this position, almost like a sprawl. The sprawl is when we fall forward. So as we gently bring ourselves forward, lower yourself down nice and slow. Pick those hands up off the ground and then come right back up. Okay? So I can come here, boom. And then once I make it to the ground, I pop right back up. So here, boom, come right back up. Or you can slow it down even further. And then when you get to the bottom part, lift those hands up off the ground. And that will help to bring the chest into an elongated position for when you press up back into your starting position. Got about 15 seconds left. So whatever position you want to lower yourself into is up to you. Okay, last set of hip hinge. So let's go ahead and come to standing, please. So this last set, you can do any option you want. You can do it with your feet close, parallel. You can do it staggered. You can also do it from a wide stance position. So I can widen my stance here and then tilt the pelvis forward, nice and slow and controlled. Okay, for me, this is the option I'm working with. This felt good, so I'm going to keep going with that. I like to follow that feel-good principle. I like to honor where my body is, you know, letting me know, hey, this feels pretty good. Keep that one going, or spend a little bit more time in that position. You know, maybe I want to add a little bit while I'm in my hip hinge. That's okay. You know, whatever you need to add to make these movements work more for you, that's what you want to do. Okay? So you stay nice and loose, nice and relaxed. Shake out your caboose. Make sure everything's nice and, you know, mobile, and then go into your position. Okay? Bounce it out, nice and relaxed. Hinge. Perhaps you want to take those hands all the way towards the ground. That's your business. Okay, last set of squats. Remember, you got lots of options here. I could do parallel, staggered stance, or I could do the sumo squat. That's another option, okay? So taking myself into whatever squat position works best for me, that's what I want you to do, okay? So a nice combination of all those different squat positions, from the split squat to the sumo squat, horse stance, if you will. and also the standard squat. About 40 seconds left. Okay, so nice, controlled movement. Squatting down, adding whatever works for you, and then coming up to standing. Staying nice and loose, squat it down. This is all about a powerful foundation. Lower down, slow with control. Okay, 10 seconds left. See how many more reps you can get in with control. See if you can accentuate the movement in such a way that it feels good to you. Okay, so our next or final movement series is going to be break falls and sprawls, everybody's favorite. All right, so from a standing position, please, you're going to lower yourself down through your squat. You're going to rock back, slap the ground gently with your hand, and come right back up into a standing position. Switch sides. So I can fall towards one side. I can fall towards the other side. Or I can go straight back. Whatever option works for you. Okay, the idea is we want to become comfortable with the idea of falling backwards. And you'll notice for me, I have one hand gently smacking the ground. The other hand, almost like I'm holding a tray, is there to protect my head. Boom. Sometimes we fall and we're going really quickly. So you want to make sure that you're protecting your head as much as you can. 5 seconds left. Okay, now we're moving into sprawls. So check it out. From my standing position, I'm going to lower myself towards the front. I'm going to get my hands situated on the ground and lower myself all the way to the ground, putting my head off to the side. Come right back up to standing. Okay, so use as many different positions you need to get up. Change your position, and when you're ready, lower yourself down. Okay, come right back up. So if this is really difficult for you, you can always come from a kneeling position. Just walk your hands out and then lower yourself down nice and slow. Because we want to practice the lowering part in this workout. Okay, so remember, nice and loose, nice and relaxed. When you're ready, boom. Remember to spread those fingers wide and distribute the load throughout your whole hand, not just your wrist. Okay, so you're nice and ready. Perhaps when you go down, you don't even let your pelvis touch the ground. That's totally cool. Okay, so right back into our break falls. So let's get it. Stay nice and loose, nice and relaxed. When you're ready, you're trying to develop a relationship with your body through these movements. So as you're lowering yourself towards the ground, you want to practice feeling, okay, what's happening here? So that you can maximize your awareness of where you are in space and time. We call it kinesthesia, the body's awareness of where you are in space and time. We want to improve our ability to feel our body through space and time, because that teaches our body how to move so that we don't have to think about it in the unlikely event of an accident. So if you're always practicing, your falls, in the unlikely event that you actually fall in life, you're going to be that much more prepared to move in a safe way without even thinking about it. And that's what we want. 10 seconds left. So you're lowering yourself down and then adding whatever little variations of movement that you like. Okay, sprawls. Let's get it. Remember, keep those wrists nice and relaxed. Everything's nice and fluid. Lower yourself down. come right back up. Shake it out. Come right back down. Come on. Remember, make it work for you. If what I'm doing isn't your move, that's totally cool. Just do a variation that works for you. I could be doing a simple movement of slowly lowering myself towards the ground in any number of positions, and that's cool. Remember, life doesn't happen within alignment. Life frequently takes us out of alignment. So we want to practice moving our body safely outside of alignment. Now, there's a tremendous value to practicing alignment as well, because then our body knows what alignment feels like. So we want to do a little bit of both. A little bit of alignment and a little bit of not so much. Okay? All right. So one last set of break falls. Let's go ahead and get it. Remember, make sure it works for you. Go from your rocking to your getting up. And just so you know, it was not always easy for me to do what you see me doing. This took a little bit of time, but with perseverance and looking at our movement practice through the lens of it being more like a marathon and not a sprint, thinking about that long-term aspect, that's where a lot of these gains come from. Because if I move too quick, too fast, then I might injure myself, and now I'm out of the game, and I'm losing time in terms of improving myself. So take that no pain, no gain mentality with a grain of salt. Make it work for you. I'm not saying there's no value there with no pain, no gain. I'm just saying that practicing movement doesn't need to be painful. Okay? It just needs to be consistent. Consistency is key. 7 seconds left. Okay, last set of sprawls. Let's get it. Now, this movement comes funky on the wrists. You can always move into a loose fist position as well. So I'm lowering myself into my laying on the ground position using my fists. So you can do that as well. It doesn't have to be your palms. You can catch yourselves on your fists as well. Do it maybe slow at first just so you can see how it feels. And then once you get a good sense of how it feels, then you can start to move a little quicker. 30 seconds left. Nice and strong. Really stretching those fingers out wide. Spreading that base of support as you lower yourself down. Boom. Okay. Now about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so go ahead and lay yourself down onto your stomach. Put your hands, or your arms rather, in a gold post position. You're going to reach one leg behind and focus on a stretch through the front side of the chest. So make sure that your shoulder is not collapsing into the ground. So this shoulder, you don't want it to be collapsing into the ground, but rather to be held back by the muscles of the shoulder blade. Okay? And then we're going to switch sides. So we're just opening up. So technically speaking, this is opening up the shoulder, and it's also opening a little bit through the front side of that hip of the leg that's on top, reaching behind you. Inhale, exhale, nice and slow. Start to control your breathing as we start to cool down. Okay? So this is not a passive stretch. This is an active stretch. I should be able to lift up my hand on my stretching side to accentuate the stretch even further. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Inhale, exhale. Nice and strong. Maybe change the position of the arm a little bit. Take it a little further up, or maybe even a little further down. See how far you can go comfortably. It's not about how far you can go as much as how you can feel your body going to its limit without exceeding it. To exceed your limit in movement basically equates to an injury. Let's go ahead and switch sides. We don't want an injury. We want micro tears and, a controlled inflammatory response following exercise so that we can improve and evolve and get stronger, but we don't want to hurt ourselves. Got about 30 seconds left. Nice and strong. Remember, you can change the position of that stretching arm in whatever position that works good for you. Got about 15 seconds left. If you want to switch to the other side real fast, that's cool. Nice, beautiful long stretch through the front side of the chest. Okay. So from here, we're going to move into a frog stretch. The frog stretch is when we take our hips or our knees further apart, and we're going to simply bring our body weight forward and back nice and slow. Now, as I do that, you're going to notice one of my knees is bent. Well, both of my knees are bent, but I'm adding some gentle, here, I'll switch sides so you can see it better. I'm adding some gentle leg bone rotations and then switching sides. So this should be comfortable. Now, if it's not comfortable for you, if it's uncomfortable in the hips, then change the position so that it feels more comfortable for you. Perhaps bring your legs closer together. Perhaps bring your body, a little further away so the legs are a little straighter. Whatever variation works for you, that's totally cool. This is a stretch for the front side of the hip. Well, remember, it's active, so even my shoulders, I don't want to be collapsing through my shoulders. I want to press firmly into my elbows and stay nice and active the whole time. Passive stretching has a value. This is an active stretch, however. Active stretching is going to stretch certain aspects of your connective tissue fabric that passive stretching can't hit, vice versa as well. A passive stretch will also tend to stretch the fascial fabric or your connective tissue in a way that's unique to itself. Okay? Nice and strong the whole time. Keep switching sides. Adding your gentle leg bone rotations. You want to press yourself up onto your palms. That's a nice variation as well. You can add a contraction through the posterior hip. And just notice how that feels. Got about 30 seconds left. Remember, if your wrists are feeling a little bit like, whoa, we did a lot on those suckers today, then go to a loose fist. If your wrists, then go to fists. Wrists hurt, go to fists. Got about 15 seconds left. Make it work for you. Okay, so our next variation of this movement is going to be to straighten out one leg and bring the knee up off the ground. Okay, so you can see I have one leg bent still. This was our start position. I'm going to take one leg back, and I'm just focusing on length and stretch and strength through that whole back leg. Okay, so you can change the position. Maybe try to lower your pelvis towards the ground and bring it up with awareness and strength. I can pay attention to what's happening in my toes and really feel the ground. Maybe like I want to push off from this position. Just seeing what types of, connections I can make through this position. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So we're in our frog position to start, and then we just straighten one leg back and then bring the knee up off the ground. Okay? See what you can explore from this position. It's not right or wrong. It's a matter of exploring sensations. Okay? But for me, I feel this a lot in the front side of the straight leg. I also feel it in the glute. I feel it in the back side of my knee. I feel like things are stretching in a really lovely kind of way. And that's that feel good principle. Okay? Nice and strong the whole time. Remember, don't collapse through the shoulders with your supporting arms. You want to stay nice and strong through those arms. Let's go ahead and switch one more time. Oh my gosh, sorry, did not know too. All right, Catherine. We're going to have to go ahead and bring this show to an end. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come into a nice cross-sit position on my mat. I'm going to inhale, exhale. As I exhale, I'm going to lower my forearms down onto the ground, get a nice gentle stretch to the back side. I'm going to add some gentle sweeps as I breathe. Nice and slow, nice and mindful as you go. Maybe add a little reach overhead for a lateral stretch of sorts. Sweep that arm around, switch sides. Sweep that hand towards the ceiling, switch sides. Inhale, exhale, nice and smooth, nice and slow. Make your movement as graceful as you can, nice and smooth. Reaching forward. Coming to the side. Switch. Sweep forward. Come to the side. Switch. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself today. I hope you enjoyed the focus of eccentric contractions, the lengthening or negative rep, so to speak. Whew! That was a good workout for me. I hope it was good for you. And thank you again so much for joining me today. You know how much I appreciate you, and I hope that this session was really good. Oh, right on, right on. Yeah, your feedback helps. Sometimes I just guess, guess and pray, like, oh God, please help me to be of a benefit in my movement class today. So when you tell me it was great, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So anyways, have a great day. Have a great week. And make sure to bring into mind things you're thankful for. Make sure to make the energy, manifest the energy of the life you want now. Like I said, I hope you have a beautiful day today and a beautiful weekend. And I hope that you just enjoy life to the ultimate fullest with every breath that you take. So have a beautiful day. Lots of love to you. And I will see you next time. Bye. And peace. See you soon.